So the question is, isn't it shocking to you, Oji, how confused our democracy has become? Why I call it demonstration of grace? You, Wike, was material and key to a state of emergency happening. So you were going to meet him for a local government election that you know was going to sway in your favor. So what were you going to tell Fubara at 1 a.m.? Was he going to tell him that, I don't beat you, this local government, they come to me? But we saw the sham that the local government election was now. It's not where we had the miracle of Obiakpo, over 300,000 votes in local government elections. That's the joke we have become. He also said yesterday on air, Oji, that if they wanted to allow the state of emergency continue, they'll have continued. You know what that means? So anyway, it's President Tinubu that keeps giving him all of this leeway. But maybe because of the agreement they both have, only God knows what is among them. Anyway, he delivered Rivers for APC. We all know how the BBC wrote against that governorship elections and how shambolic those elections, the presidential elections in Rivers State. Moving on, him that is talking that somebody abused the president and they are talking, when the allegations against him abusing the president, this is not the same Wike that said for President Buhari then, that will go at it shoulder to shoulder, that if they try to do anything against Nigeria will burn. Didn't Wike say? So you see, these politicians have come to realize, plus President Tinubu plus Wike, when they are in opposition, they say something entirely different. When they are in government, they say something that him that is calling somebody. The constant refrain during Buhari's time was the fact that he was always taking jabs at Buhari. It's not during the Buhari time he called APC cancer. Is it not the same APC he's frolicking with now? That is it not the same cancer that is winning all the local governments in the state? So you can see these our politicians. In all of this, you will have thought that Mr. Wike will have been more concerned about a more pressing issue, which is doctors going on strike in Abuja FCT that is there.
He said something about it there.
But that's not the main issue. The main issue was Fubara. He had to come and gloat that he's there, he's in charge, and all of that. So you see, but I have a word for them. Everything comes and goes. See, I think it was Dr. Abati, I think it was one of our Nigerian famous poets, if it's J.P. Clark, with his famous poem, Riverbed, Riverbed, sitting all day long on hook over grab, riverbed, riverbed, sing to me a song of all that's past and say, will mother come back today? You shall not know and you should not bother. Tides and market come and go and so shall your mother. That's stream side exchange. Tides and market come and go. These people will come and go someday.
All right. Dr. Abati, speaking about the fact that, Wike was saying that...
Shame not letting Sim Fubara resume work. After 24 hours, he's still nowhere to be found. He has not been seen in government house. This is a shame. He's hiding. Like I said before, yesterday he doesn't want to come when when the jubilation, they were celebrating, rejoicing, and happy that the state of emergency is over. They cannot have their elected governor in Rivers State. But yet the man was not even in the country. He was not even in the country. What that one was going on? Meanwhile, he and Wike had an agreement already because they know what was going to play out. So he has to distance himself from that shenanigan, that jubilee what they were doing. But yet, less than 24 hours, he's still not in government house, nowhere to be found. What is going on? He doesn't want to come back again, or because he said it before that his spirit left that house. He doesn't want to go back, if not because of one reason or the other. He doesn't want to go back. Could that be the reason? Could it be that the deal was too much for him? He's still thinking about it. Can I go back or not? He just want to disappoint them at this time. I don't think so. Something is happening. I know he's definitely going to come shamelessly come to the government house. But anyways, let's watch and see what happens. But take your time, listen to this video first. We'll come back and talk about it. There's a lot to listen to on this video. But do me a favor, like, share, comment, and subscribe to this YouTube channel so that you know what is going on. If a video like this is being posted, next time you get it, you be the first person to see this video. I'm telling you, now be your guy. Run on for me. Subscribe. Let's go there.
People faced disappointment on Thursday as Governor Sim Fubara failed to resume office despite President Bola Ahmed Tinubu lifting the 6-month emergency rule, directing him to return to work. Thousands of supporters gathered at the government house in Port Harcourt from as early as 6 a.m. To about, I believe, noon. And they were hoping that the governor will be back to the office. But by late afternoon, neither Fubara nor his deputy, Professor Ngozi Oju, had appeared. Let's take a look. Now, Fubara government. Of course, we know it's Fubara's government. You say, why are people like this? I don't know. But yesterday, efforts by journalists to reach key aides, including the Commissioner for Information, have proven unsuccessful with calls and text messages going unanswered. I'll take some tweets. This is from Dr. Champion, who wrote, interesting twist. The assembly is back, but the governor is missing. If Fubara stays silent much longer, it will only fuel more rumors about what deal was struck behind closed doors. And then another Twitter user wrote, where is Sim Fubara? We expected him to at least give state address today. He said he does not wish to go back to State House some time ago. Is he not still interested? Fubara missing out on a big occasion and disappointed his supporters as usual. And of course, the Twitter user went on to say that they're happy that the governor didn't show up yesterday. Let everyone go home. Fake supporters. When he was illegally removed, the so-called supporters didn't say a word. They mostly moved on with their lives as usual. Let them all go home. Fubara will resume without fanfare. Well, we know that the Rivers State House of Assembly has since reconvened and passed a motion to probe financial transactions during the emergency administration. They've also asked the governor to forward a list of commissioner nominees and commence work on an appropriation law. Meanwhile, FCT Minister Nyesom Wike said on live television on Thursday that he drove to Governor Sim Fubara's house at 1 a.m. to discuss the Rivers State local government elections. Wike insisted that no decision was taken without Fubara's input during the emergency rule period. He added that Fubara had earlier informed him that he wouldn't be available on election day due to a family commitment involving his son, and accused critics of making false claims about the Rivers political crisis. I mean, this was an interview he granted yesterday on Channel Wike, and people were asking that what really is going on here? You drove to the governor's house at 1 a.m. In what capacity? What exactly are you doing? But let me take this story, and hopefully we'll have that video and we'll play both. Well, in the meantime, during the flag-off ceremony of a road project in Abuja, Wike criticized individuals who disrespect President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, saying that they are fortunate that he respects the rule of law. His remarks came after activist Omoyele Sowore called President Bola Ahmed Tinubu a criminal on X, which led to the Department of State Services filing charges against Sowore. Let's take a look.
This is a country where somebody will say Mr. President is a criminal. Nothing will happen. Nothing. You say all kinds of things you want to say, nothing will happen. No matter how you see people criticize Trump, have you ever seen any American citizen on the social media, on the public, say, look, our president is a criminal? Have you ever had that? But yeah, anybody can wake up in the morning and abuse president, and we're happy. You are lucky you have a president that believes in the rule of law. You are lucky. Continue to be lucky. There are those you will meet, and you will be lucky again.
All right, this is a big conversation, but let us now play the video where Nyesom Wike said that he drove to Governor Sim Fubara's house around 1 a.m. to have a conversation about the Rivers LG elections.
I, the Minister of FCT, the former governor of Rivers State, 1 a.m., drove to the governor's house. Sat down. Yes, what do we do? He said, look, it's okay. We'll go by that. There was nothing that was done, and the governor was not a party to it. You see, even before the election, the governor traveled. He told me he will not be around. See, because my son had this engagement, I just don't. The people just sit somewhere, begin to talk all kinds of things. They don't even know, simply because, all they were expecting is, they've not settled. Unfortunately, we are settled. Unfortunately, that Fubara is no longer there. Where people will be collecting money is no longer there. There's no law that said you must resume work today. For example, this is governor. I don't understand the way we operate. Okay, I was sworn in today, for example. Does not mean I'll go to office tomorrow.
All right, here he's saying there is no rule that says Wike must resume work or should have resumed work yesterday. But I believe we have our correspondent, Andy Omano, right now at the airport, local airport in Port Harcourt, hoping to see if Governor Sim Fubara will be, arriving hopefully within an hour. They have reports that he's not in the state. But Rufai, what are your thoughts about, Wike's comments regarding Tinubu respecting the rule of law, and of course the fact that he actually, was discussing having this conversation with Governor Fubara during the elections and all of that? Anything goes in Nigeria. That is not the same country that, somebody called the president a criminal and nothing will happen. Well, we know that the DSS has filed charges. But I want to tie this in with this so we can discuss that. Now, speaking about free speech in the United States, Jimmy Kimmel's show, which was suspended by ABC after he accused supporters of Donald Trump's MAGA gang of trying to politicize Charlie Kirk's death and attempting to portray the alleged killer as someone other than one of them, has sparked a broader debate about free speech and government pressure on the media. His remarks were deemed offensive and insensitive by the ABC, and so they announced that the show will be preempted indefinitely.
We had some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
All right, critics have slammed the suspension of Jimmy Kimmel. Even former U.S. President Barack Obama criticized the Trump administration for threatening regulatory actions against media companies. The issue of free speech,
yes,
Dr. Abati.
It's the First Amendment.
Yes.
And then you have this council culture that is flourishing under Trump. However, I said the problem with it is that it smacks of, modern autocracy, authoritarianism, whereby institutions of state are weaponized to discredit persons whose opinions you do not like. And in a country where the First Amendment is at the very foundation of the ideals of liberal American democracy, I think it's a crying shame that under President Trump, we have the United States under him behaving like he's running Viktor Orban's Hungary, or the kind of dictatorships that we see in other parts of the world, in authoritarian societies, the old Soviet Union and elsewhere, where people cannot express themselves. But does President Trump care? He does not. He's going after anybody who does not express the same views as him. Before now, it was Stephen Colbert. Before now, it was Katia Atta of Washington Post, just for expressing a view about Gonzo, the spread of guns and politics. Yes. That was how, Karen Atia left Washington Post. Now it's Jimmy Kimmel. Trump is even boasting that other networks, anybody that expresses any opinion that he does not agree with, should be fired from the platform. Now, that is not the only thing. They are now criminalizing anybody that says anything critical about the death of Kirk. However, this is the same America where when you had issues of gun violence, the radical right will not say anything. This is the same America when George Floyd incident occurred, right? It was the ordinary people who came out en masse. What did they use this same Brenda Carr institution, the FCC, that's the Federal Communications Commission, to do at that time? Brenda Carr is going all about now. Say anybody that says a word about Kirk's death, the person will be dealt with. And Trump is saying, yes, carry on. So it's not the kind of thing that should be recommended. And I was saying that, look, these are our African leaders. Very soon they will start saying that's what they do in America. And I think one African leader too has gone in that direction, harassing journalists, harassing people who present programs. But the other side of the hypocrisy is the hypocrisy of the ownership of these channels. Washington Post sucks up to Trump for advantages that the publisher is looking for. Nesta, they have about 200 radio stations. Oh, they've removed Jimmy Kimmel from their programs for their own selfish reasons. So when Trump harasses them, they jump. They don't have enough courage, like Harvard University, to stand up and say, no, we have the right to free speech, we have the right to choice. They don't have the confidence to stand up like Lisa Cook to say that, look, under the Federal Reserve Act, what you call for cause does not apply in my own particular case. Now, the same Trump is trying to intimidate the Supreme Court of the United States on the question of his attempt to control the Central Bank of the United States. So it's a very strange development where America seems to be contradicting its own, democratic values. And Trump setting a bad example for other leaders in other parts of the world. I hope nobody will come tomorrow and say they are doing it in America. We too will do it. So they should not copy bad things.
This is why I had the two stories together, because really, Jimmy Kimmel was expressing an opinion. I mean, it's different from actually defamation and all of that.
No.
That right? Correct? He was
it wasn't
defamation. He was just expressing
an opinion. Factually wrong.
He was expressing an opinion. And so we see this sort of media clampdown. And Dr. Patrick rightly said, let them not go and say that they are doing it in America. After all, they suspended the Jimmy Kimmel show. So now we have to be sure of what we are saying. Everybody, let me speak my language. Gente, listen. Well, all right. This is what they're saying.
Everybody that cares,
I mean, come on. So it bothers down on, what is free speech and all of that.
How, platforms are powerful.
Yes.
How you strike a balance between business and journalism. Where do you draw the line?
Where do you draw the line? Well, we are here to speak the truth and transparently, right? Well, all right. Let's take another story now. Presidential advisor Daniel Bwala has defended the constitutional right of Seyi Tinubu to contest for any political office, including Lagos State Governor, despite being President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's son. Speaking on the Clarity Zone broadcast, Bwala said that being the president's son should not disqualify anyone from participating in politics. He dismissed suggestion that Seyi's charitable activities are politically motivated, arguing that people should not gaslight or blackmail him simply because of his family's background. Let's take a look.
Some people assumed that the way he's been doing a lot of this welfare, which he did not start yesterday, a long time, saying he want to become governor. Yes. Then I asked the question, is he not qualified
to be a governor? Even if he want to be governor.
They say no, because his father is a president. Then I asked the question. He hasn't said he's running, but I'm just saying, you don't gaslight or blackmail somebody, right? I said, Even if his father is a president, what stops him from running?
Being a governor.
He can even challenge his father in the election.
Exactly, in the next election.
Let us see how he will challenge his father.
Challenge his father
during the election.
He can even challenge his father.
Well, Ayo, Dano Boala also criticized Peter Obi's charitable activities, questioning the scale and quality of his interventions. Boala claimed that despite being a multi-billionaire, Peter Obi has no record of floating a foundation, alleging that Peter Obi limits his charitable giving to only 5 million naira and has never given beyond 50 million naira. Boala also accused Peter Obi of providing substandard infrastructure, specifically targeting his borehole projects in northern Nigeria. Let's take a look.
Peter Obi is a billionaire, multi-billionaire. There is no record that Peter Obi has flouted a foundation. Because every man who believes he has a passion for humanity, every man that I've seen in terms of big men, they've flouted a foundation or a school, anything that has to do with public interest and fund it so they can meet the deed of the masses. Not a single one.
But there are good deeds that he does. Gives 100 million to this, to the streets.
He never give 100 million from Adam. I know he gives 5 million. He has never given beyond 50. And even that 50 he gave, I can tell you the circumstances behind it. But let me tell you, he came to the Northwest and North Central that time after the election. And places where they didn't have water and he wanted to create borehole. You know the type of borehole Peter Obi gave them money to produce? Caveman Days borehole, where somebody will climb and be bouncing like this, like a strip club. You'll be bouncing like that before water will come out.
Caveman borehole. Let me take this reaction from Dave, who wrote, "There is no mandatory law that donations towards charitable acts to support the cause of humanity must be rooted through foundations. I can think of the foundation MKO Abiola floated during his lifetime, but his impact was felt across African continent." Go ahead. Yes.
Let me start with the first story around citizenship.
Yes.
Running for governorship here
in
Nigeria, in Lagos State for the son of the president, saying that he could even contest against his father. And absolutely true. Many of us know the criteria for being president of Nigeria. Must be a Nigerian citizen by birth, must be sponsored by a party and belong to a political party, and of course must have attained at least school cert or its equivalent. And what disqualifies you, of course, must not be a convict, must not have been indicted in embezzlement or forgery. A number of these things that Sheyi Tinubu is not guilty of. So, as he said, he has a right to contest. However, we keep saying that the power lies in the hands of the people. I believe that when it comes to election time, the people should be enabled. And I use that word very, very intentionally. Should be given the enabling environment to choose who their preferred candidate will be. I say this because oftentimes I've talked about INEC being a critical stakeholder when it comes to free and fair elections and enabling the will of the people to prevail. And not just imposing perhaps a candidate or a sham election whereby the will of the people is violated. And so if they can just give people an opportunity, if they want Sheyi Tinubu to be their governor, it's up to them. It's not Daniel Bola that would advise the Lagosians how to vote or where to vote or who to vote. But the race will be tight because the number of prominent people are throwing their hats in the ring. Let's see how that will pan out. 2027 is 2 years away. Now, going on to charity, absolutely spot on with that ex-post that there's no legislation around how people give. I think it's quite rich coming from Daniel Bola himself. Let him evaluate, have a self-evaluation and tell us himself how he has contributed to society through his own giving or through foundations that he has floated. I think that's more important. I think it's rich for you to criticize the giving of another person who is trying to do good in Nigeria, whether it be Peter Obi, whether it be Remi Tinubu, whether it be Sheyi Tinubu, who's given anything, when you yourself haven't self-evaluated. I praise people who, under prevailing economic circumstances, have gone out of their way to take their personal wealth to enrich the lives of others. Instead of castigating, I think it's important to praise the efforts of individuals who have chosen to do good.
I think you have empirical facts. You found something empirical.
More than 50 million. This is September 2021. Igu Online. Peter Obi donates 100 million to Specialist Hospital for Nursing School. To Shanana Specialist Hospital.
Right. We've taken a lot of the stories. We've seen the
empirical facts.
Just one decides to give out of their personal wealth for the benefit of humanity.
Yes,
I think it's important to encourage that.
Bola is factually incorrect. False.
Well, all right. Daniel. Kokoro don't Jeffo.
Kokoro don't
Jeffo.
You know a follower.
Oh my goodness. Well, all right. Shall we now take another story? Well, tributes have been pouring in for the victims of Tuesday's fire at Afriland Towers on Broad Street in Lagos Island. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the First Lady of Nigeria, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, Peter Obi, and the Governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, have all expressed their condolences to families of the victims. The president, in his tribute, extended his sympathies to the management and staff of FIRS, United Bank for Africa, and other affected organizations, while also commending the swift response of emergency workers who assisted in evacuation efforts. Sanwo-Olu described the incident as worrisome and a significant loss, with property worth millions of naira destroyed. Meanwhile, The chairman of Harris Holdings and Afriland Properties, Tony Elumelu, on Tuesday cut short his trip to New York for the United Nations General Assembly following the tragic incident at Afriland Towers. In an emotional statement to staff and stakeholders, Elumelu said he was shattered by the devastating incident and described it as a devastating loss for the Afriland family. And I'll read his statement in part. He wrote, "I am shattered by yesterday's devastating incident at Afriland Towers that took the lives of our dear colleagues. No words can capture the magnitude of this loss, not for their families who loved them, not for the friends who valued them, and not for those of us who worked beside them. Yesterday was a stark reminder of what truly matters, our irreplaceable people, those who walk through our doors each day and share our mission. As we navigate this grief, I urge you all to reach out to those who are receiving care. In the coming days, we will convene colleagues in a memorial to honor the memories of the departed as we provide support to their families. I also want to thank all those who supported in one way or the other, from emergency responders and first aid workers to members of the public who showed courage and compassion. A minute of silence will be observed today at 12 noon West African time across all our group companies. This was so touching to read yesterday, and it was quite, important that the chairman had released that statement, because we did see a statement from, the UBA group, claiming that the Afriland Towers the headquarters was not for, did not belong to the, was not the headquarters. So it's good that the chairman had clarified this and released that statement. We know that the Federal Fire Service has announced plans to roll out a nationwide task force on safety compliance to audit public and private buildings, enforce safety standards, and train facility management. The death toll from the tragic incident has now risen to 10 people, including staff members from the Federal Inland Revenue Service and United Capital PLC. Our hearts goes out to the family members. Dr. Bati, you wanted to say something, or just a minute?
To say that, look, this is very unfortunate.
Yes.
I mean, we all wake up in the morning and we're going to, offices and all of that. And for a person to go to work and not return home, it's a very serious tragedy, not just for the families involved, but also, for society. That, security of lives in a real sense cannot be guaranteed. The more we get to know of the details, the more painful this story is. We were told that the fire started in the basement and that smoke engulfed the building. Is it that there were no smoke detectors, either in the Afriland Towers or in the other incident that occurred on that day? In some other countries of the world, they have something they call fire drill. Sometimes you'll be in a public building, say in the United States, you start hearing noise. They will tell you, oh, it's fire drill, just for you to know what the escape routes are. Where are the people were dropping from windows? Yes. I mean, it's so now you are hearing Federal Fire Service coming up saying we will be doing okay, they will make this noise, people will issue condolences, and then that's the end of it until the fire next time. Yes. So it's about how we organize our society and the value that we place on the building code and the integrity of electrical installations. There must be regular checks. All right.
Well, the condolences are well appreciated from the president, from the first lady, and even Tony Elumelu cutting short his trip.
Oh my God. This country, just like Wike said, that in this country, you see anything, do anything, you get away with it, you do anyhow, you see anyhow, nothing is going to happen. Everybody talks anyhow, nothing is going to happen. I've said it before, times without number. Everything you see people are doing today, both young and old, they are doing today. They learn it from our leaders. They learn it from our politicians. So everything you see today going on in this country is as a result of failure of this government. Not just this government, previous government. Is as a result of failed government in Nigeria that result to this. That people can speak from both sides of their mouths. They don't care. There's no integrity. There's no integrity again. They don't have it. They lost it. Now, look at Wike that is talking, that is speaking. Everything in Rivers State falls in his favor. He can rejoice. You drove to government house to Sim Fubara midnight to do what? What were you looking for? So he needs to agree. He has no choice again. He has no choice again. The only choice he has at that time is to agree with you, with your demands, your terms and conditions, or he resigned. That is the only option. Because he has been beaten hands down. So he has no choice. But the only choice is to resign. But he doesn't want to resign. He has not made money. Do you understand? Now, with all the problem going on, the 6 months in suspension in office, and Supreme Court refused, despite the fact that the matter was application was filed, they never said anything about it. I think now they want to say something. They want to open the file again to say it was wrong, this and this and that. Now, if if the courts, now, is there a time when the Supreme Court will now say the state of emergency was wrong in Rivers? It wouldn't have suspend a city governor, that they now upturn this judgment to say since Fubara won the case, that one is not part of it, that they have to extend his stay in office for 6 months. Then the election cycle will be, Rivers State will be changed from the normal election cycle, just like I think Osun State and Anambra State. What happened in there during Peter Obi after 1 year. So that's the reason why you see some states are not having the same election, the same day governorship election. So with problem, this just causing problem here and there. And Wike that is talking today, he easily forgets. Anytime he's not in the ruling party, Wike could remember what Wike used to say about Buhari's at that time. So Buhari didn't come for you because you are too powerful. Buhari didn't come for you. They didn't arrest you. You were not being arrested under Buhari. Everything you said, you criticized Buhari. You said Buhari government has killed Nigerians. At that time, yes, your government is killing them. APC was cancer, PDP was malaria. You decided to leave malaria. You joined cancer. Now you are swimming in cancer. You want to take leadership of that cancer. Now you are giving your state to cancer party. Yeah, you understand? So you don't take politicians, Nigeria politicians, you don't take them seriously. Wike that is talking about, so we're calling a president criminals, something like that, that he is lucky. He's lucky. Even you yourself, you are lucky. You are lucky with your utterances. It is you who said if governors in different states do anyhow, you put fire in their place, in their state. Yeah, you said that. You put fire in their place. You threaten nobody. You are not threatening in this country. You threatening many people in this country, including governors. You put fire in their place if they do anyhow, because you are too powerful. Nobody to challenge you. Nothing happens. Nothing happens to you. They had a lot of videos surfacing every time that you are involved in this, other governors involved in this, they involved in that. Nothing happened to them. Nothing happened to them. Can you imagine? But when another person speaks, because he's not powerful, he's this, he's that, he does not have the kind of money you have, it becomes a problem. That person is the enemy of the country. That person is the one demarketing the country. That person is the one demarketing president. Meanwhile, president caused all this problem. He caused this problem for himself. President who you don't even understand his leadership, his style of leadership, who lies to Nigerians, who goes everywhere lying about figures. Is that the person he said we should not talk about? No, we have to talk about it so that he will change. He will know. Go back to his previous messages and see where he make blunders, where he goes, where to recorrect himself, to come back. This digital age, internet era. You don't have to lie. Everything is on the internet to go and verify it. That's the problem here. You have to be. We need to assess you. You need to be accessible. You need to be accessible. Now you're talking today because it's in your favor. Tomorrow was not in your favor. And remember, power is transient. You are not going to stay there forever. That's why I like Rufai. You saying he has given you already. He's giving it to you. Put you to where you belong. Tomorrow, we are still going to hear. Anyways, when Tinubu leaves office now, you are not a member of APC now. So you are working for APC. When Tinubu leaves office, you are going to leave office. At that time, we'll know where you belong. If you are still going to crave the leadership, at that time, you will start threatening if they do not give you the leadership of the party. If they do not give you the position, you put fire. We are still watching at that time. At that time, we know the kind of person who is going to be the president. Whenever you do anything at that time, the person will come for you. You will know that this is lucky. That time, you are not lucky. Do you understand? That's how it works. So Nigerian politicians, you don't take them seriously. And this one, Mr. Liars, we don't even take this one seriously. That one will be another video. I'll say something in another video for you, Daniel Bwala, because you lie a lot. So I'll just do another video to respond to you for this lie where you just lie now, because that's your work. You can lie for a living. Anyways, what do you think? Please share this video. And please share this video, and please like, share, comment, subscribe to this YouTube channel, hit the notification button so that you get to see videos like this next time. We are still watching. Hopefully Sim Fubara resume work today.